Hey everyone, Arashi here, back again with another upload. In today's video, we're going to be giving a little bit of love to General Grievous. And today we're going to be discussing and talking about how he became the cyborg killing machine that he was during the Clone Wars. But in order to understand who he was during the Clone Wars and why he was so sadistic and crazy, and why he was always constantly seeking out more and more power, we have to understand exactly who he was before that time. Now, Grievous was originally a young Kaleesh male who was known as Kaimin Jaishi Law. And during this time, the Kaleesh people were in a war with the Huk. The reason this war was going on is because the Huk were trying to enslave the Kaleesh people. And Grievous, well at this time Kaimin Jaishi Law, was a general at the time. He was the head of many missions, many campaigns, and many battles that took place between the Kaleesh people and the Huks. And with the Huks being more technologically advanced, you guys can imagine that Grievous had to become a great warrior and very smart strategist in order to succeed in battles. But on one battle, Law, or Grievous at this time, lost one of his best friends. This eventually led him down a path of revenge and hatred towards the Huks. He began leading a bunch of missions and campaigns that would actually lead to the destruction of many other Huk small homeworld and other colony planets. He was trying to erase them from existence. He did not want a single trace of them left in the galaxy. During this time, he destroyed so many colony planets that he was drawing closer and closer to the Huk homeworld. Fearing that Grievous was going to destroy their home planet now, the Huk actually employed the help of the Trade Federation to get the Jedi to come through and help actually destroy the Kaleesh. The Huk managed to trick the Senate and trick the Trade Federation into saying that the Kaleesh were the ones who were destroying the planets, and convinced the Senate that the Kaleesh were actually the ones that started this whole war. Due to this, the Senate sent back a couple of Jedi, or a team of Jedi, to push back the Kaleesh reinforcements and to push back the Kaleesh offensive in general. After that, the Senate actually put sanctions upon the Kaleesh people, leading them into poverty. These decisions by the Senate actually made Grievous hate the Jedi and despise everything that the Senate stood for. He saw them as bigger conglomerates that just only served the few people that were in charge, or the few people that actually had power. Now, ever since his partner had died, he changed his name to Grievous, so at this time he was known as fully General Grievous, and his name began to spread across the galaxy. He became very popular, and this even caught the eye of Chancellor Palpatine. Palpatine saw the potential of having someone like Grievous on his side, so he sent Count Dooku to go and acquire him, or recruit him in order to get him into their services. Dooku and Palpatine hatched a plan in order to get Grievous to join their services. They had got word that the Huk were destroying ancient burial grounds that were made by the Kaleesh people, so Grievous grabbed a few of his warriors and went to go try and stop them. But as they hopped on the ship eventually blew up and crash landed over the ocean. The bomb was planted by Dooku himself. Later on, Dooku and Palpatine went to go retrieve the body of Grievous from the crash landing, and they went on to retrieve the extremely injured Grievous at this point from the bottom of the ocean floor. Now, they eventually dragged his body back to a lab and placed the extremely injured general into a Bacta tank so he can begin the process of healing. Grievous eventually awoke floating in a Bacta tank, and he was met by a member of the banking clan. Grievous was actually angered by this. He wanted to actually die alongside his people, which is seen as a traditional way to die amongst the Kaleesh people if you were to die in battle. Grievous was then given a proposition. He was told that he would lead the droid army and also be remade into one of the most powerful warriors in the entire galaxy. At first, Grievous really didn't care about this whatsoever. He just wanted to die alongside his friends and didn't want to actually lead any new era. But the member of the banking clan actually gave him a proposition he couldn't turn down. He promised to pay off all the Kaleesh people's debts, and also was going to try and reverse all the sanctions that had been put on them by the Galactic Senate. Now, with this proposition in hand, he was fully ready to commit and become the General Grievous that we all know nowadays and know and love. Also, during his transformation, not only was it very gruesome and very excruciatingly painful for Grievous, but he was also pumped with the blood of Jedi Master Sifo Dyas to see if he could awaken any latent force abilities within Grievous's body. Unfortunately for Grievous, this part of the experiment absolutely failed on him. And also, Count Dooku decided to take and turn his brain and make his anger receptors and hatred receptors more prominent. So that way he hated and wanted to kill Jedi even more. And it also made him more receptive and understanding of the Sith grand plan. Once it was all said and done, Grievous was wrapped in armor and was given some of the best cybernetics the galaxy had ever seen. The only thing that was left of Grievous was his heart, lungs, and a few other vital organs that were actually belonging to him from back when he was a normal person. His cybernetics gave him the speed and reflexes of a Jedi, and his armor actually made him extremely powerful and made him extremely tanky. He was essentially just a walking tank at this point. And he would also go on as one of the best Jedi hunters the galaxy had ever seen. And on top of these cybernetic enhancements and new armor, he was actually trained by Count Dooku himself, one of the best duelists the galaxy had ever seen. During the Clone Wars, he was extremely formidable, as we all know, and was collecting lightsabers from every Jedi that he had killed. Anyway, that's the story of General Grievous before he became a cyborg. Personally, I wish we had a what-if story of potentially seeing what General Grievous would have been like if he was fully Force sensitive. But anyway, that's all I got for this video. Let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. May the Force be with you, and have a great rest of your day.
You failed, Your Highness. I am a Jedi, like my father before me.